Arrtx has come out with a 60 pack of acrylic markers. They come in two different sets. Set A, which is kind of like your bold regular colors, and Set B, which is the one on the screen right now, are your anime colors. At least that's what it was labeled online as. So hi everyone, I'm Ward and welcome to my channel Wardrawsalot, and today we're going to take a look at the 60 color acrylic marker set from Arrtx. First off, I want to say that it was packaged incredibly well. Both sides were cushioned in the box and it was wrapped in bubble wrap. They did the whole 9 yards to make sure these markers don't fall out of place in the packaging. If we look at the box, it's very anime or comic book-esque, kind of alluding to what kind of set it is. It says on the upper left corner, 60 colors, water-based and brush tip. Upper right corner says Arrtx, and on the bottom gives a little message that says to live a creative life and capture art without limits. When we turn the box around, you can see a beautiful layout of all the swatches printed on there, but it also states on the bottom left that this color swatch is only for reference, so it would be better if you did color swatch them yourself, which is what I'm going to do. I forgot to mention that this pack was retailed for $50, and at 60 markers for $50, that makes each marker pen 83 cents a piece. Upon opening the box, inside we get a card from Arrtx, and it says that if you want to share whatever you create with these markers, use the hashtag Arrtx on social media. On top of the markers, we have two sheets of stickers right here, and they're for labeling the markers. This one that has the larger stickers are for the barrel of the marker itself, so you could put it on there. And this smaller one is for the ends of the markers, so you can identify them from the top instead of kind of taking them out and seeing which marker it is every time. The colors look beautifully laid out, and they're upside down, I'm guessing so the ink pools on one end and they're just ready to use. So let's take a look at the marker. It's a white barrel that says Arrtx acrylic marker on it, high adhesion, and has an indicator for the brush end of the marker. The cap and the end of the marker both help indicate what color it is. When we open up the marker, inside we have this beautiful brush nib, and it looks pretty sturdy. I've used their markers previously before from a smaller pack, and their brushes, or brush nibs, hold up pretty well against my heavy hand. So I think that they're gonna last a pretty good while. Now, the next part I do want to talk about is the stickers and labeling. So I'm going to take the sticker and put it at the end of the marker to help indicate, what the marker number is. But when you do this, do not take any of the markers out of the box, okay? There is no way to indicate what color each marker actually is on the marker itself. So in order to make sure you have the right number for the right marker, leave everything exactly the way it is in the box, or you're gonna be like, oh my god, which one goes where? So that's my piece of advice to you, because that's what I saw happen to me. So as you can see here, at the end where the color is goes the small circular sticker, and then at the end of the barrel itself goes the larger sticker. And you could see here when I put it back inside the box, that's kind of what it would look like laid out with all of them done. So you could see from the side what color it is, or from the top, just whatever's more convenient for you. So through the magic of editing, I have done all 60 markers because I doubt you guys want to see me put stickers on all 60 markers. And they look pretty nice and honestly organized, and I can't wait to swatch them, which is exactly what you're seeing here on the screen. So as I said before, I have used their Arrtx markers in a different pack. I have the Set A pack from their 30 marker set, and I really wanted to see if these markers were any different. Those markers were good quality, so I expect these to be, and honestly they were pretty good quality. The color range is very nice. It's much more leaning towards the pastel colors, which is good because I feel like a lot of markers are very middle tone, not necessarily really light or really dark, but I feel like this 60 pack has a nice enough range of colors to show exactly what's in there. I do feel like there was a little too many greens. For some reason, companies do a lot of greens. I don't know why, but they had a lot of blues, pinks. They had a good amount of skin tones. I honestly think that the 60 pack range was pretty nice and had enough per category of color. Remember how I said I used their other markers before? Well, here they are. I was really curious to see if there was any color overlapping between the sets because, I like to see what's going on over here. So what I did was I took out the markers from that set A that I had, the 30 marker set, and compared them to colors that I had from this set, the 60 marker set. And this is good to check just for the sole fact that, you know, remember, you're spending your money on these packs, and if you already have one, do you necessarily need the other? Now, let's see if there was any actual color overlapping between the sets. Some of them I compared directly to their number from the previous set, and some just looked similar enough. And number 18 looks definitely pretty similar to me between the two markers, but a lot of these definitely have just the slightest color difference between each marker. So it's almost like there's enough variation in between them to actually justify getting the pack, at least on this side, definitely. 18, maybe 17, and even maybe 50 kind of seem similar to each other, but I feel like there's just such a slight little undertone that maybe you might not be able to tell if there was or was not a difference, so it's up to you guys and what you think on the screen as well as I do. When it comes to this side of the page, I feel like 55 does look a little similar. Of course, black is the color black, it's gonna look the same. 95 does look similar. So if I'd like to say how many colors overall of a guess, maybe 5 or 6 colors did overlap from the set A set. Now, there's a set B set for the markers of the 30 pack, and I wonder if those would be even more overlapping because those are pastel tones. The markers in the 30A set are much brighter than these, so it honestly just depends on which 30 pack you have. That's if you have the 30 pack at all. If you don't have it at all, the 60 pack is your best shot. You would get all colors brand new in your case. And of course, I'm going to be using the silver and gold from the 30 set because the 60 set doesn't have a silver and gold, at least in the anime pack. I don't know about the regular pack. So now it's time to test these markers out. I've drawn 3 different portraits and I'm going to try and use as much color variation in between them to kind of test out what we got going on here. This first portrait on the screen, I stuck to kind of much lighter tones and more of blues and purples just to kind of see how it would look. I wanted to see if there was enough definitely skin tone variation between everything. I feel like a lot of packs do neglect darker shades of skin tones, but this one didn't, and you'll see that on the third drawing. I tried to do like a light skin tone, middle skin tone, and a dark skin tone just to see how it would kind of fare with everything. Of course, the markers are, you know, filled with ink. They're pretty juicy, the nib works pretty well. For the most part with the first drawing, I didn't really have any issues with it. When it came to the second drawing though, there was one marker that was kind of giving me a hard time, and it's the marker that was for the hair. For some reason, the ink flow in the marker, or at least that one, just was kind of weird, and I don't know if it had something to do with the nib, or if it was just maybe a faulty marker in general, but the ink flow was a little tough, so I had to press a little harder just to kind of get anything out. So that was one marker that I already saw was a little issue with, but if we're talking about in relativity to the entire pack of 60, to have 1 or 2 or 3 markers that are a little funky, it's gonna happen. You're not gonna expect a completely perfect pack. It's just not gonna happen. Sometimes it will. If you're lucky, all 60 are gonna be perfect and you're not gonna have any issues, but in my head and the way I see everything and how long I've been drawing for, there's always gonna be a marker or 2 that's gonna have a little bit of an issue. The one thing that I'm always going to enjoy about acrylic markers is the ease of use, right? So if you make a mistake, you can go over it as many times as you need. You can go back and forth as you please. It's much more forgiving than regular traditional markers. I honestly think after using this pack, the 60 pack is your best bet. If you already have a 30 pack, and that's like the one that I do, I feel like this set is a good complementary set to that one, just because I personally think I need bright colors because I'm somebody who uses very harsh, bright colors. But if you want a good mix of both, then getting a combination of either the 30 or the 60 would do you well. It depends also on your budget. The 30 packs are much cheaper than the 60 packs, so if you're somebody who could only afford the smaller packs, then do with those versus the larger packs. Overall, the markers are great, I like using them, and they're very nice to complement my normal everyday drawings. I love the way these drawings came out, and I'm honestly excited to use these markers again. So yeah, thanks for watching, and remember I love you. Bye!